The council chamber was filled with noise. Representatives from 17 different alien species argued about borders and trade routes. Director Vrex, a tall reptilian Korthan, sat at the center table. His scales were dark green and his eyes showed boredom. Another day, another meaningless debate. Ambassador Tylus, an insectoid Vrel, clicked her mandibles nervously. She had been reading old texts lately, ancient documents that spoke of a species called humans. They had vanished from the galaxy over 3,000 years ago. Some said they died out. Others said they ran away. Most people forgot about them completely. The argument stopped suddenly. Every screen in the chamber flashed red. Emergency alerts blared through the speakers. Vrex stood up quickly, his tail hitting the floor with a heavy thud. "What is happening?" he demanded. A young technician's voice came through the speakers. He sounded frightened. "Director, we are detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of our space. Hundreds of them. They appeared from nowhere." Commander Grath pulled up a holographic display. 300 contacts appeared on the screen. Each one showed power levels that made no sense. A single one of these vessels radiated more energy than an entire council battle fleet. "This must be an error," Vrex said. "Nothing can generate that much power." "The sensors have been checked 3 times, Grath replied. His voice was steady, but his hands shook slightly. "The readings are accurate. These ships are real." Tylus felt something cold move through her body. She remembered a passage from those ancient texts. When humanity left, they had been strong. But not this strong. What had happened to them in 3,000 years? "Open a communication channel," Vrex ordered. "Demand they identify themselves." Before the technician could respond, every screen in the chamber changed. A face appeared. It was human. The being looked like the pictures Tylus had seen in the old archives, but different. His eyes seemed to glow faintly with an inner light. His features were perfect, almost artificial in their symmetry. "Greetings," the human said. His voice was calm and clear. "I am Admiral Doyen of the Human Vanguard Fleet. We apologize for any alarm our arrival may have caused." "We come in peace." The chamber fell silent. Even Vrex seemed too shocked to speak. The word human hung in the air like electricity before a storm. Admiral Doyen continued. "We understand you may have questions. We left this galaxy 3,247 years ago. We have now returned. We wish to speak with your leadership about matters of great importance to all species in this region of space." Vrex recovered his composure quickly. He straightened his uniform and looked directly at the screen. "I am Director Vrex of the Galactic Council. You say you are human. The humans are extinct. Identify your true species and explain why you are invading our territory." Something that might have been a smile crossed Doyen's face. "We are not invading, Director, and we are very much alive. We left because we had to. Now we have returned because we must. The territory you claim was once ours. We have no desire to take it back. We only ask for dialogue." Tylus spoke up, her voice translator making her words understandable to everyone. "Admiral Doyen, the archives speak of humanity's departure. They say you fled from something. What were you running from?" Doyen looked at her. His glowing eyes seemed to see through the screen directly into her mind. "We did not flee, Ambassador. We went to prepare. What we prepared for is now coming. That is why we are here, to help you survive what is approaching. Threatening us will not work," Vrex snapped. Commander Grath scrambled the defense fleet. "Surround these vessels and prepare to fire if they make any aggressive moves." Grath hesitated. "Director, I advise caution. We do not understand their technology. They appeared without any warning. Our sensors detected nothing until they were already here. Do as I command," Vrex said coldly. Doyen's expression did not change. "We will wait for your fleet, Director. We mean no harm, but we understand you need to feel secure. Please know that we have already mapped every ship, station, and defense platform in your territory. We have done this passively, without intrusion. We know your capabilities. We ask only that you do not force us to demonstrate ours." The screen went dark. The council chamber erupted into chaos. Representatives shouted questions and accusations. Vrex slammed his fist on the table, demanding order. Far away, on a council colony world called Haven, a woman sat in a small apartment. She looked human. Her name was Hannah, and she had lived on Haven for 5 years. The locals knew her as a trader who dealt in rare minerals. They did not know the truth. Hannah watched the broadcast of Admiral Doyen's message on her personal screen. A smile crossed her face. She had been waiting for this moment for a long time. Her mission had been simple: observe the Council, learn their ways, and prepare for humanity's return. She activated a small device hidden in her palm. A holographic interface appeared, visible only to her enhanced eyes. She typed a quick message. Primary contact successful. Council response predictable. Proceeding to Phase 2. The message was sent instantly across impossible distances. Somewhere in the darkness of space it was received and acknowledged. Back in the council chamber, young scholar Pixon watched the confusion with wide eyes. The bird-like siren had been studying human history as a hobby. Now that hobby had become the most important subject in the galaxy. Pixon pulled up files on a personal datapad. Images of human ruins, ancient technology that still worked despite being thousands of years old, and legends of their sudden disappearance. One text caught Pixon's attention. It was a warning left behind by the last humans before they vanished. We leave not in fear but in necessity. What comes cannot be fought with present strength. We go to evolve or die. If we return, it means the time has come. To those who inherit our worlds, prepare yourselves. The darkness approaches and only unity will preserve the light. Pixon felt fear and excitement mixed together. The humans had returned. After 3,000 years, they were back. And according to their own words, they came with a warning. Commander Grath stood on the bridge of his flagship. Around him, 3,000 council vessels moved into formation. It was the largest battle group ever assembled. Against 300 human ships, it should have been overwhelming. But as Grath looked at his sensors, he felt doubt. Those 300 contacts had not moved. They simply waited in perfect formation at the edge of council space. They showed no fear, no concern, no reaction at all to the massive force gathering against them. "Sir," his tactical officer said quietly, "I am detecting something strange. The human vessels are not generating heat. No exhaust, no radiation, nothing that would indicate active power systems, yet they are clearly operational and responding to communications. How is that possible?" Grath asked. The officer shook his head. "I do not know, sir. Our physics say it should not be possible. But the readings do not lie." Grath made a decision. "Open a private channel. I want to speak with this Admiral Doyen directly." The connection was made instantly. Doyen's face appeared on a small screen. "Commander Grath, how may I help you?" "Tell me honestly," Grath said. "If we attack, what will happen?" Doyen was quiet for a moment. "Your weapons will not reach us. We will disable your fleet without destroying a single vessel or harming a single life. Then we will repair any damage caused and return your crew safely. We do not wish to fight you, Commander. We wish to save you." "Save us from what?" "From what destroyed 17 civilizations before you even evolved," Doyen replied. "From what made us leave in the first place. From what is coming to this galaxy right now." The connection ended. Grath stood in silence, staring at the empty screen. Around him, his fleet waited for orders. But what orders could he give against beings who claimed they could disable 3,000 warships without firing a shot? The galaxy was about to change. Humanity had returned, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Council fleet reached the human vessels after 6 hours of travel. Commander Grath watched his tactical displays carefully. His 3,000 ships surrounded the 300 human vessels in a perfect sphere. Every weapon was charged and ready. Every shield was at maximum strength. Yet Grath felt no confidence. He had commanded fleets for 30 years. He had fought in 12 major battles. He knew when he was facing a superior force. And these humans with their silent ships and glowing eyes were definitely superior. "All ships report ready, Commander," his tactical officer said. "Hold position," Grath ordered. "Wait for their move." He did not have to wait long. A communication request came through, not just to his ship but to every single vessel in the fleet simultaneously. Grath accepted it. Admiral Doyen appeared on the main screen. Behind him, Grath could see the interior of the human ship. It looked more like a temple than a warship. Soft lights, curved walls, and technology that seemed to flow like water. "Commander Grath," Doyen said, "your fleet is impressive. 3,000 vessels all working in perfect coordination. The Council should be proud of what it has built." "You are surrounded," Grath replied. "Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded for inspection." "We have no weapons, Commander. Not in the way you understand them. And inspection will not be necessary. Instead, I would like to send a delegation to your flagship. We can talk face to face. Surely that is better than pointing guns at each other." Grath hesitated. Allowing unknown aliens onto his ship went against every security protocol. But something in Doyen's tone made him pause. The human was not asking permission. He was offering courtesy. "Very well," Grath said. "Your shuttle will be escorted to our main hangar. Any aggressive action will result in immediate destruction." Doyen nodded. "We understand. However, we will not be using a shuttle." Before Grath could ask what he meant, 3 figures appeared on his bridge. Simply appeared. One moment the space was empty, the next 3 humans stood there. No transport beam. No energy signature. They just materialized. Security officers drew their weapons immediately. Alarms blared. Grath jumped to his feet, his hand on his sidearm. The 3 humans did not move. The one in the center was a woman with kind eyes. She wore a simple uniform that seemed to shimmer slightly in the light. She raised her empty hands in a peaceful gesture. "I apologize for startling you," she said. Her voice was soft and calm. "I am Dr. Nari. These are my assistants. We mean no harm. We simply wish to save time." "How did you get onto my bridge?" Grath demanded. "Every shield is active. No transporter beam can penetrate them." "Your shields are very impressive," Nari said, "but they only block matter and energy in normal space. We traveled through a higher dimension for a brief moment." "Your shields cannot detect or stop that." The tactical officer's voice shook.
"Commander, that is impossible."
"Higher dimensional travel is purely theoretical. No species has ever achieved it." "No species you know of," Nari corrected gently. "Humanity achieved it 900 years ago. It was necessary for our survival." Grath slowly lowered his weapon. If these humans could bypass his shield so easily, shooting them would accomplish nothing. He gestured for his security team to stand down. "You came here to talk," he said. "So talk." Nari nodded and reached into a small bag at her side. Every weapon in the room immediately pointed at her. She moved slowly, pulling out a small cylindrical device. "This is a medical database," she explained. "It contains cures for 273 diseases that currently plague Council species. Cancer, genetic disorders, viral infections. We offer this freely with no conditions." She placed the device on Grath's command console and stepped back. "Why?" Grath asked. "Why give us this?" "Because we are all children of the same universe," Nari said. "Because suffering should be ended when it can be. And because we need you healthy and strong for what is coming." "The threat you mentioned," Grath said. Admiral Doyen spoke of something approaching. "What is it?" Nari's expression became serious. "We call them the Void Collective. They are an extra-dimensional species that feeds on energy. They consume stars, planets, entire civilizations. 3,000 years ago, we detected their approach. We knew we could not fight them as we were, so we left. We went to dark space far beyond the galaxy and we evolved." "How long until they arrive?" Grath asked. 5 years. Maybe less. They move slowly but steadily. Nothing can stop them with conventional weapons. We barely survived our first encounter with them. That is why we developed our current technology. Every advancement we made was designed to counter them. Grath sat down heavily in his command chair. 5 years. The galaxy had 5 years to prepare for something that made humanity flee and evolve for 3,000 years. "Why should we believe you?" he asked. "You should not believe us based on words alone," Nari said. "That is why we will show you. Captain Minsu is preparing an expedition to the Galactic Rim. You can send observers. They will see the evidence with their own eyes." Meanwhile, on the planet Haven, Hana was having her own conversation. She sat across from a council intelligence officer named Krill. He had been watching her for months, suspecting she was more than just a traitor. "You are human," Krill said. It was not a question. "Yes," Hana replied simply. "How long have you been here?" 5 years. "There are others like me on different worlds. We have been observing, learning, preparing." "You are spies," Krill said accusingly. "We are scouts," Hana corrected. "We needed to understand what the galaxy had become in our absence. We needed to know if you could be saved or if it was too late." "And what did you conclude?" Hana looked directly at him. "That you are worth saving. You have built a civilization that, while flawed, has potential. You care for your people. You try to maintain peace. You are not perfect, but you are good enough." Krail did not know what to say to that. He had come here to arrest a spy. Instead, he was being told his entire species had been judged and found acceptable. Back in the council chambers, Director Vrex was furious. Reports were coming in from across the fleet. Humans were appearing on ships offering gifts, sharing knowledge. All without permission, all without control. "This is an invasion," he shouted. "They bypass our defenses. They appear where they wish. They offer gifts as if we are primitives." Ambassador Tylus spoke calmly. "Director, perhaps we should consider their offer. The medical technology alone could save billions of lives." "At what cost?" Vrex demanded. "What will they ask for in return?" "No one gives such gifts freely. They ask only that we listen," Tylus replied, "that we prepare for the threat they warn us about." "Is that so terrible?" Young scholar Pixon had been quietly working on their own research. They had accessed humanity's ancient databases and found detailed records of their departure. Images of massive machines being built, plans for ships that could travel beyond known space, and warnings, so many warnings about what was coming. Pixon activated the main display in the chamber. Everyone stopped arguing and looked. "I found this in the human archives," Pixon said. "It is a recording made just before they left." The recording showed a human scientist standing in a laboratory. Behind her, massive screens showed dark shapes moving through space. Shapes that seemed to consume light itself. The scientist spoke. "To whoever finds this, we are leaving not because we are weak, but because we are wise. What approaches cannot be fought with current technology. We go to evolve or perish. If you see us again, it means the time has come. Please listen to us. Your survival depends on it." The recording ended. The chamber was silent. Even Vrex had nothing to say. The fear in that ancient human's voice had been real. And if humanity had spent 3,000 years preparing, what kind of nightmare were they all facing? Dr. Nari stood on Grath's bridge waiting for an answer. The commander looked at the medical device she had given him. Then he looked at his crew. Young officers who deserved to live, who deserved to see their families again. "I will send observers to your expedition," Grath said finally. "We will see this evidence you speak of. And if what you say is true, then we will talk about an alliance," Nari smiled. It was a genuine warm smile. "That is all we ask, Commander. A chance to prove we are telling the truth, and a chance to save this galaxy together." The first step toward unity had been taken, but the hardest challenges were still ahead. Captain Minsu sat in his ship, preparing for the expedition to the Galactic Rim. His vessel was small compared to the massive human warships, but it was incredibly advanced. The ship had no visible engines, no exhaust ports, no obvious weapons. It looked like a smooth piece of art floating in space. 3 council observers had been assigned to accompany him. They sat in the passenger area looking nervous. Minsu understood their fear. Everything about human technology seemed impossible to them. "We will be traveling very fast," Minsu explained. "You will not feel any acceleration. Our gravity systems compensate for all movement. The journey will take 6 hours. One of the observers, a young Korthan named Vex, spoke up. "How fast is very fast?" "About 900 times the speed of light," Minsu said casually. The observers looked at each other in shock. The fastest council ships could barely reach 10 times light speed. This human was talking about speeds that should tear a vessel apart. Minsu engaged the drive. Outside, space seemed to bend and fold. Stars streaked past like rain, but inside the ship everything was perfectly calm. The observers could not even tell they were moving. Meanwhile, back at the council headquarters, a group of Korthan extremists were planning something dangerous. They believed humanity's return was a threat that needed to be eliminated. They had acquired a quantum snare, a trap designed to capture any ship that entered a specific area of space. The leader of the group was named Torax. He was a military officer who had been passed over for promotion. He blamed the council's weakness for his failures. Now he saw a chance to prove himself by capturing a human vessel. "Once we have their ship, we can study their technology," Torax told his followers. "We will become the most powerful force in the galaxy. The council will have to recognize our strength." They set their trap along the route Captain Minsu would take. The quantum snare was invisible to most sensors. It would create a field that locked down all ship systems and prevented escape, or at least that was how it worked on council vessels. Minsu's ship entered the trap zone. Alarms should have gone off. The vessel should have been caught. Instead, nothing happened. The ship continued forward as if the trap did not exist. Torax watched in confusion from his control ship. "Why is it not working?" "Deploy the backup systems." Multiple snares activated simultaneously. The space around Minsu's ship filled with energy fields designed to capture and contain. But the human vessel simply phased out of normal space for a moment, passing through the traps like they were not there, then phased back in once it was clear. Inside the ship, Minsu sighed. We have a problem. Someone just tried to trap us. The council observers looked alarmed. Who would do such a thing? Extremists probably, Minsu said. People who fear what they do not understand. Do not worry. They cannot harm us. But we should report this to your commanders. He sent a message back to the main fleet. Within minutes, Admiral Doyen received the report. He contacted Commander Grath immediately. Commander, some of your people just attempted to capture one of our ships, Doyen said. His voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. We understand that fear makes people act foolishly. However, we cannot allow such actions to continue. Grath felt anger and embarrassment. I will find whoever did this and punish them severely. That will not be necessary, Doyen replied. Instead, I would like to demonstrate something to the entire council. A lesson about the futility of aggression. What kind of demonstration? Gather a battle group. Your finest ships with your best crews. Have them engage one of our frigates in a training exercise. Full weapons, full shields. They will understand why we do not need to conquer you. We already could at any time. We simply choose not to. 3 hours later, 50 council warships faced a single human frigate. The frigate was small, maybe a tenth the size of the council capital ships. It hung in space, waiting patiently. Director Vrex watched from the command center. This is foolishness. 50 ships against one? We will destroy them. Ambassador Tylus stood beside him. I do not think destruction is their goal, Director. I think they want to teach us something. The exercise began. All 50 council ships opened fire simultaneously. Hundreds of weapons discharged at once. Energy beams, missiles, plasma charges. Enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The human frigate did not dodge. It did not raise shields. It simply absorbed everything. Every weapon strike hit its target perfectly. And nothing happened. The ship's hull did not even show scorch marks. Then the frigate responded. But it did not fire weapons. Instead, it did something impossible. Space around each council ship twisted slightly. Gravity fluctuated. Every vessel in the battle group suddenly went dark. Engines stopped. Weapons powered down. Life support switched to emergency backup. Every single ship was disabled in less than 2 seconds. The crews were unharmed. Confused but unharmed. They sat in their darkened ships trying to understand what had happened. Then, just as suddenly, everything came back online. Engines restarted. Weapons recharged. Life support returned to normal. It was as if nothing had happened except for the knowledge that they had been completely helpless. A message came through to all ships. It was from the frigate's captain, a human woman named Yuna. We mean you no harm, she said. What you just experienced was a gravitational pulse. We can generate localized fields that disrupt electronic systems without causing damage. We have weapons far more powerful than this, but we will never use them against you. We are not your enemies. Please remember that. In the command center, Vrex was speechless. 50 warships, disabled in 2 seconds, and then restored just as quickly, to prove they could have been destroyed just as easily. They have been monitoring us, Tylus said quietly. From the very beginning, they knew about the extremists before we did. They knew exactly how we would respond to their arrival. They have known everything. How? Vrex asked. Because they are not limited by our understanding of physics, Tylus replied. They can monitor communications across any distance. They can see through our shields. They can appear anywhere they wish. Director, we have no secrets from them. We never did. On Haven, Hana was explaining the same truth to Krill. She had brought him to her apartment and shown him things that made his head spin, devices that seemed to violate basic laws of physics, communication systems that worked instantly across light years, medical scanners that could diagnose illness before symptoms appeared. We have been watching you for years, Hana said. Not just me. There are hundreds of us spread across council space. We monitored your communications, studied your culture, learned your languages. We did this because we needed to know if you were worth saving. And are we? Krill asked. Worth saving? Yes, Hana said without hesitation. You are flawed, but you try. You make mistakes, but you learn. You have wars, but you also have peace. Most importantly, you care about each other. Different species working together. That is rare in the galaxy. That is precious. Krill sat down heavily. What happens now? Now you decide, Hana said. Will you accept our help? Will you prepare for what is coming? Or will you reject us and face the Void Collective alone? At the Galactic Rim, Captain Minsu's ship reached its destination. The council observers looked out at the view screens and felt their blood run cold. 3 star systems were visible ahead, or rather what had been 3 star systems. Now they were just empty voids. The stars were gone. The planets were gone. Even the asteroids and debris that should have been there had vanished. Only darkness remained. What happened here? Vex whispered. The Void Collective, Minsu said quietly. They were here 3 months ago. They consumed everything. Matter, energy, light itself. This is what they do. This is what is coming to your home. He enhanced the sensors, showing traces of what had been there. Massive structures bigger than planets. Things that existed partially in normal space and partially in dimensions the observers could not comprehend. The readings made no sense according to council physics. How do you fight something like that? Another observer asked. With technology that operates on the same principles, Minsu explained. That is why we left. Why we evolved. We had to learn to manipulate higher dimensions, to bend space and time, to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Otherwise we had no chance. He turned to face them. And now you must learn as well. We will teach you. We will share our knowledge. But you must be willing to change. To become more than you are. The observers looked at each other. Then at the empty void where stars used to be. Then back at Minsu. Tell us what we need to do, Vex said. Scholar Pixin had made a breakthrough. While researching ancient texts, they had found references to other species that had faced the Void Collective. 17 civilizations over the past 50,000 years. All of them had failed. All of them had been consumed. But there was one exception. One species had survived. They had evolved, transcended, and moved beyond normal space entirely. And according to the records, that species had been human. Pixin presented these findings to the council. Humanity is not just returning to help us, Pixin said. They are returning because they must. Because they are the only ones who ever survived the collective. And because they remember what it means to be vulnerable. Even Vrex was listening now. What do they want from us? The council chambers had been transformed into a war room. Holographic displays showed the entire galaxy, with red markers spreading slowly inward from the rim. Each marker represented a system consumed by the Void Collective. Each one represented billions of lives ended. Admiral Doyen stood at the center, using human technology to enhance the display. The council representatives watched in horror as he showed them the full scope of the threat. The collective moves slowly but inevitably, Doyen explained. They consume a system completely before moving to the next. This pattern has been consistent for 50,000 years. They are not intelligent in the way we understand. They are more like a force of nature, a cosmic predator following instinct. How many systems have they taken? Commander Grath asked. Since we last encountered them? 217. That we know of. There may be more in regions we have not surveyed. At their current pace, they will reach the core council worlds in 4 years and 8 months. The room fell silent. 4 years. Less than 5 years to prepare for something that had destroyed 17 advanced civilizations. Dr. Nari stepped forward. We have fought the collective 3 times. The first encounter was 3,000 years ago. We lost 70% of our population and barely escaped. That defeat taught us we needed to evolve or die. She manipulated the display, showing images of the ancient battle. Massive human ships, primitive by their current standards, being torn apart by things that looked like holes in reality itself. We fled to dark space, Nari continued, beyond the galaxy where they could not follow. For 2,000 years we worked. We experimented. We changed ourselves fundamentally. We merged with our technology. We learned to manipulate dimensions we had not known existed. We became something new. Another image appeared. Human cities that floated in impossible space. Structures that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. People who looked human but were clearly something more. Our second encounter was 1,000 years ago, Doyen said. We went back to test our new capabilities. This time we won. We destroyed a collective vanguard force. But we learned something disturbing. They had evolved too. They had adapted to our tactics. The main swarm was getting stronger. And the third encounter? Tylus asked. 6 months ago, Doyen replied. We engaged a major collective force at the Galactic Rim. We won again, but the battle was close, very close. They are learning faster than we anticipated. That is why we return now. If we wait any longer, even we might not be able to stop them. Director Vrex, who had been quiet throughout the presentation, finally spoke. You said you need our help. But what can we possibly do? Your technology is thousands of years beyond ours. We would be useless in this fight. You underestimate yourselves, Nari said gently, and you misunderstand what we need. Yes, we are more advanced, but we are also few. When we left, humanity numbered 12 billion. Now after 3,000 years, we number only 8 billion. Our population has been stable, but small. The Council worlds hold over 300 billion sentient beings, Doyen added. That is your strength, numbers, diversity, different ways of thinking, different approaches to problems. We need that. And with our help, you can become powerful enough to matter in this fight. Young scholar Pixon raised a wing. How do we begin? What is the first step? We call it the Ascension Program, Nari explained. It is voluntary. We will not force anyone, but for those who choose to participate, we will offer genetic enhancements, neural improvements, and technological integration. We will help you evolve just as we did. It will not be easy or comfortable, but it will make you stronger. She pulled out a small vial containing glowing blue liquid. This is a genetic modifier. It repairs cellular damage, extends lifespan, and enhances neural capacity. A single dose can add 50 years of healthy life to most species. It is the first step in the ascension process. Tylus stared at the vial. You are offering us longer life? Enhanced minds? Just like that? The collective will not wait for you to catch up naturally, Doyen said. We must accelerate your evolution. This is how we do it. Those who accept the treatment will think faster, react quicker, live longer. They will be able to learn our technology, to fight alongside us, to eventually defend themselves. Commander Grath stepped forward. I volunteer. If this will help protect my people, I will do it. Nari smiled and handed him the vial. Drink it all at once. The effects will begin within an hour. You will feel strange for a few days as your body adapts, but after that you will be stronger than you ever imagined. Grath did not hesitate. He opened the vial and drank. The liquid tasted like starlight and possibility. Within seconds he felt warmth spreading through his body. His vision sharpened. His thoughts became clearer. He could feel his cells responding, changing, improving. How many of these do you have? Tylus asked. Enough for everyone in this room, Nari replied. We can produce more. Within 6 months we can treat billions if they are willing. Within a year your entire military could be enhanced. Within 2 years your civilian population could be offered the choice. On Haven, Hana was conducting her own demonstration. She had gathered 50 volunteers from the local population. People who wanted to be part of something bigger. People who were willing to change. She gave each one the genetic modifier. Then she began teaching them basic human technology, how to interface with quantum computers, how to perceive higher dimensions with enhanced senses, how to move faster, think clearer, live better. Krill was among the volunteers. He had taken the treatment 3 days ago. Now he could see things he had never noticed before. Patterns in light, streams of data flowing through the air, the underlying structure of reality itself. Is this how you see the world all the time? He asked Hana. This is just the beginning, she replied. Wait until you receive the neural enhancements. Then you will truly understand. Captain Minsu had returned from the rim with his council observers. They had seen the devastation. They had witnessed the empty systems. Now they were sharing that evidence with anyone who would listen. Vex, the young Korthan observer, had become a spokesman for the human cause. He traveled between council worlds, showing recordings of what he had seen, speaking about the urgency of preparation. I saw 3 star systems erased from existence, he told crowds of listeners. Nothing remained, not even dust. The collective consumed everything, and they are coming here, to our homes, to our families. The humans offer us a chance to survive. We must take it, his message resonated. Fear was powerful, but so was hope. And the humans offered both a warning and a solution. Scholar Pixon had made another discovery. In the oldest human archives, there were references to something called the Gateway Protocol, a plan for fighting the collective that involved every species in the galaxy working together. Pixon brought this information to Admiral Doyen. What is the Gateway Protocol? Doyen looked surprised. You found that? I am impressed. The Gateway Protocol is our final strategy. If direct combat fails, we will create a dimensional barrier around the galaxy. A wall that the collective cannot pass, but it requires massive energy. More than humanity alone can generate. How much energy? Pixon asked. The combined output of every major civilization in the galaxy, channeled through a network of quantum amplifiers. It would be the largest cooperative effort in galactic history. That is why we need the Council. Not just for soldiers, but for power, for unity. Pixon felt the weight of that revelation. The humans were not just offering to save the Council. They were asking the Council to help save everyone. The first volunteer soldiers began training with human instructors. They learned to pilot hybrid vessels that combined Council and human technology. They practiced fighting in simulated battles against collective forces. They pushed their enhanced bodies and minds to the limit. Commander Grath oversaw the training personally. The genetic enhancement had made him faster and stronger, but it had also made him wiser. He could see patterns in combat he had never noticed before. He could anticipate enemy movements with uncanny accuracy. "How are they performing?" Toyin asked during an inspection. "Better than expected," Grath admitted. "The enhancements are remarkable. These soldiers are 10 times more effective than they were before, and they are eager to learn more." "Good," Doyen said. "Because time is running short? Our sensors detected new collective activity yesterday. They are accelerating their advance. Our estimate of 4 years may have been optimistic." Grath felt cold fear grip his heart. "How much time do we actually have?" 3 years. Maybe less. They are moving faster than before, learning from each system they consume, becoming more efficient. "Then we must work faster," Grath said. "We will train harder, recruit more volunteers, do whatever it takes." Doyen placed a hand on Grath's shoulder. "You understand now. This is not just about survival. It is about transformation, about becoming something greater than we were. That is the only way to face the darkness and prevail." In the council chambers, a historic vote was taking place. Every species had sent representatives. Every world had a voice. The question was simple. Would they accept humanity's help and join the fight? Or would they try to face the collective alone? Ambassador Tylus had already received the genetic enhancement. 2 years had passed since the alliance formed. The galaxy was transforming. Billions of council citizens had received genetic enhancements. Millions had completed the full ascension program. New ships combined the best of human and council technology. Military forces trained together, learning to fight as one, but the collective was getting closer. Systems fell every week now. The red markers on the galactic map spread like disease. Time was running out. Ambassador Tylus stood in a medical facility, watching the latest volunteers undergo their transformation. She had been one of the first council members to complete the full ascension program. Now she could perceive dimensions beyond normal space, could interface with quantum computers using only her thoughts, could live for centuries instead of decades. But the changes went deeper than physical enhancement. She thought differently now, saw connections she had missed before, understood concepts that once seemed impossible. She was still herself, but she was also something more. Dr. Nari approached her. "How are you feeling, Ambassador?" "Like I have been asleep my entire life and only now woke up," Tylus replied. "Is this how humans feel all the time?" "This is how we learned to feel," Nari said. "After 3,000 years of work. But you achieved it in 2 years. Your species adapts faster than we expected. That gives me hope." Sudden alarms blared through the facility. Tylus's enhanced senses immediately analyzed the alert. A collective probe had entered council space. Not at the rim this time. It had appeared in the middle sectors, testing defenses. "How did it get past our sensors?" Tylus asked. "They are learning to mask their approach," Nari said grimly. "Just as we feared. Come, we need to get to the command center." The probe had materialized near 3 colony worlds. Each world held over 2 billion inhabitants. The probe was enormous, larger than most moons. It radiated darkness, seeming to absorb light rather than reflect it. Commander Grath was already mobilizing forces. His flagship, now a hybrid vessel combining human and council design, moved to intercept. Around him, 50 other enhanced warships formed up. "All ships, engage enhanced weapons systems," Grath commanded. His voice was calm, despite the situation. The genetic enhancements had given him perfect emotional control. "Target the probe's dimensional anchor points. Fire on my mark." The fleet opened fire. But these were not the simple energy weapons of 2 years ago. These were quantum disruptors, dimensional cutters, causality bombs. weapons that operated on principles the old council could not have imagined. The probe reacted. Tendrils of pure darkness extended from its surface, reaching for the attacking ships. Where they touched, matter ceased to exist, not destroyed or vaporized, simply erased from reality. But the council ships were ready. They phased out of normal space, dodging the tendrils, then phased back in to continue firing. They had learned from humanity, adapted, evolved. Human vessels arrived moments later. Admiral Doyen's flagship led them. Commander Grath, focus fire on coordinates I am transmitting. We will handle dimensional suppression. The combined fleet worked in perfect coordination. Council ships hammered the probe with conventional weapons while human vessels surrounded it with dimensional fields, preventing it from escaping or calling for reinforcements. The battle lasted 3 hours. In the end, the probe was destroyed. But not before it managed to damage 2 ships and drain the energy from a small asteroid station. 15 people died. It was a victory, but a costly one. Afterward, Doyen and Grath met in person. They stood in the observation deck of Grath's flagship, looking out at the debris field. That was just a probe, Doyen said quietly. The full collective force is 100,000 times larger. When they arrive, we will face millions of those things at once. Grath did not look away from the view. Then we need more ships, more soldiers, more time. We have 9 months, Doyen replied. Our latest projections show the main swarm arriving in 9 months. After that, everything we have built will be tested. On Haven, Hana's volunteers had become instructors themselves. Creel now taught others how to use enhanced perception, how to see the patterns humans saw, how to think in multiple dimensions. You have come far, Hana told him one day. When we first met, you saw me as a spy. Now you are one of our most effective teachers. You showed me what was possible, Krill said. You gave me a reason to become more than I was. How can I not share that with others? Captain Minsu had been working with council engineers, designing the quantum amplifiers needed for the Gateway Protocol. The project was massive. Each amplifier required the combined industrial output of an entire planet. They needed 500 of them, placed in precise positions across the galaxy. Scholar Pixon had become the coordinator for the amplifier network. Using enhanced cognitive abilities, Pixon could calculate optimal placements and coordinate construction across hundreds of worlds simultaneously. We have completed 212 amplifiers, Pixon reported to the council. At current pace, we will have all 500 ready with 1 month to spare. But that leaves no room for error or delay. Then we will not delay, Director Vrex said. He had changed dramatically over 2 years. The genetic enhancements had made him physically stronger, but more importantly, they had humbled him. He no longer spoke with arrogance, only with determination. We have come too far to fail now, Vrex continued. Every species in this galaxy is working together. Differences that seemed insurmountable 2 years ago now feel petty. We are united as never before. That is humanity's true gift to us. Tylus had been appointed as the first ambassador of the United Galactic Alliance. It was a new organization that replaced the old council. All species were equal members. All voices were heard. And humanity, despite their power, held no special authority. They had insisted on that. We do not want to rule, Doyen had explained during the formation ceremony. We want partnership. When this war is over, you must be able to stand on your own. We will not always be here to protect you. You must learn to protect yourselves. 6 months before the projected arrival of the collective, Tylus made a discovery. Deep in the human archives, she found records of previous civilizations that had faced the collective. Not just the 17 that failed, but others. Dozens of others. All lost to time, but one record stood out. A species called the Architects. They had not just survived the collective. They had transcended entirely, becoming beings of pure energy that existed beyond normal space-time. She brought this information to Doyen. Did humanity know about the Architects? We suspected, Doyen admitted. Some of our scientists believe the architects still exist, watching from beyond. Others think they were consumed like everyone else. We have no proof either way. What if they could help us? Tylus asked. Then we would welcome their aid, Doyen said. But we cannot count on it. We must be ready to face this threat with only the resources we have. The months passed quickly. More amplifiers were completed. More soldiers were trained. More citizens received enhancements. The galaxy prepared for war. Then 3 weeks before the deadline, the collective arrived early. Sensors across the galaxy detected them simultaneously. Not millions of probes, billions. They emerged at the galactic barrier like a dark tide. The scope was beyond anything humanity had predicted. The collective had been hiding its true numbers, growing stronger in the darkness. Emergency protocols activated across all worlds. The United Galactic Alliance fleet mobilized. 2 million warships, the largest armada ever assembled, moved to defensive positions. Admiral Doyen addressed the entire galaxy via quantum broadcast. His face appeared on every screen, every display, every enhanced consciousness. "This is the moment we have prepared for," he said. "The collective has come. They are vast and powerful. But we are united, human and council, working as one. We have evolved. We have grown strong. And today, we will prove that this galaxy belongs to us." The fleet engaged the collective at the galactic barrier. The battle was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Dimensional weapons tore reality apart. Causality bombs erased entire sections of the swarm from existence. Quantum disruptors shattered the collective's dimensional anchors, but for every collective unit destroyed, 3 more appeared. They were learning, adapting, evolving in real time. The battle could not be won through combat alone. "Activate the Gateway Protocol," Doyen ordered. Across the galaxy, 500 quantum amplifiers powered up simultaneously. They drew energy from every major civilization. Stars dimmed slightly as their output was channeled through the network. Planets went dark as their power grids contributed to the effort. Every enhanced being in the galaxy felt it, a connection forming. Billions of minds linked together in perfect unity. Human, Korthan, Varel, Siren, and countless others, all thinking as one, all working toward a single goal. The dimensional barrier began to form, a wall of pure energy that spanned the entire galaxy. It sealed the borders, preventing the collective from entering. But it also trapped millions of collective units inside, units that had already breached the perimeter. "All forces, engage remaining targets," Grath commanded. "We finish this now." The battle raged for 7 days. Slowly, methodically, the Alliance fleet destroyed every collective unit trapped inside the barrier. Ships were lost. Lives were sacrificed.